I've shot too many things. This is very suggestive.
Reverend Dr. Lawrence T. Richardson and Jenn Ringgold sat down with Reverend Dr. Barbara Brown Zikmund for an exclusive interview.
Every person in a U.S. has been chosen. It's here. People gave them when they died, and I got the whole thing all the way at the top. Then I did lots of stuff here. But my whole career was getting women to get into the churches and take some important things into their understanding. So then I became a professor, and then I got a PhD, and then I went off to Japan and lived there for a while. But the little one is my dad.
Yeah.
I sleep on that, and I think, this is where I began. This is where I am, and this is where I continue. It's important. I got a whole group of people doing these books. And the most important one is the history of the UCC, going way, 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 way back. And we got lots of things. I didn't write it all, but I got it all organized and got people to write. Then this is the new thing. You've seen this?
Yes.
This is the one for Synod, right? Though.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the new thing. I mean, this is all about me. When I look in the back, it tells you about my whole life. If you haven't seen that, it tells you everything you ever want to know about me, which is kind of crazy.
At Synod, this is what they're going to honor you for. Well, they're going to honor you for a lifetime worth of work.
Right.
But they're going to be talking about this book in particular related to this. And so I just would love to hear more about your thoughts.
When I look at those three, I go, oh!
Right? You're on a book. I mean, that's just...
Well, when somebody turned this around and read this little paragraph about my whole life, I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting that I came in 1969. Oh, I'm still going.
You are still going.
To make things happen. BBC has served. And, when you begin seeing people, stuff like that, then you begin to see, oh, okay, I can fit somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. This, in combination with the other books that you've written, the hidden histories that are used in so many polity classes and teaching all of our
I've been working on this stuff for a long time.
I know. I just think it's so wonderful to have this collection for the United Church of Christ, honoring your legacy and all that you've written.
That's right. And that's a gift that doesn't understand itself very much.
Yeah.
But it's really crucial.
Yeah. You are a gift.
Well, sometimes I feel discouraged. Sometimes I feel like I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not really. All of those things.
I think the fact that it's still there is a testament to how important it was. Hi.
This is Joe. Have you seen Joe?
No.
I have not met Joe. Hi, Joe. I'm Jenn Ringgold.
Hello.
Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Joe.
Lawrence Richardson.
Lawrence,
It's
hi.
great to meet you as well.
Good. You guys do your business.
Thank you so much for having us.
Sure.
Yeah,
No, I didn't do a thing.
Thanks, Joe. Glad you're home safe. Yeah. Well, I did a lot of different things. The other thing I did with these books, I had all these books. And I kept going over and saving books written by women, for women, about women. And I did finally create all of these books, 6,000 books. And I got people to help me put them together. And this was the final list. I couldn't find the one, but that's the way they came in.
Oh my goodness.
All the books. And I was in this place. I was the only female doctor who has got a degree and was in the thing. And I was there, and I was doing things, and they were very nice for me. But the only way I could go to the bathroom was to go 2 floors down, because only the men went to those. I don't know if you've heard this story.
No.
Well, there were no women there. And I got really pissed. It was like, come on. I gotta go to the bathroom, and I don't want to go down 2 flights of stuff in that building and climb myself back up. So one day, the men were doing lots of things. There were a lot of them, and I was very good friends of them. I said, this is kind of silly, but I just took a sign and I put it on one of the toilets. They had 3 toilets on the 3rd floor. And I said, it says my name. And I'm saying that any woman who wants to go to the bathroom, she can go to the one with that sign.
Yep.
That was a lubber. It was just amazing. Some of the men were very helpful. Some of the men were very angry. Some of the men thought this was silly and funny and whatever. But, a number of people who were women who were doing some other things in the thing, I just said, these women need time to breathe, to think, and to be felt meaningful. They were not paying any attention to them. So a woman started getting the women and getting them there and whatever. And then when I went to Japan and didn't do any stuff anymore, I got pictures and I got stories. Talk about you want to take pictures of me, because I was the one who opened up the bathroom. And people came from all over to come BBZ's toilet.
That's fantastic.
There it is.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's still there. If you go to that place and you look, it still has my name on that toilet.
Wow.
And I've always said, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little embarrassed. I mean, this is kind of tricky. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew you need to go to the bathroom sometime.
Right.
That's right.
And so I just said, men and women both have a toilet. They need to be taken seriously, but also they can't do everything. So some things they can't do, and it's okay. And, and I've been back there several times, and I walk in, and everybody says, oh, BBC, you're back in your place.
So that leads me to ask you a question, though, because you did that naturally, but a lot of people would think of that as activism or feminism. Would you consider yourself to be an activist or a feminist, or is that just a part of who you are?
It was sort of, but I was not making a big deal. I was simply saying, this is human. These women need to be able to go to the bathroom honestly, accurately, appropriately. And they're not out to do anything bad. They're just trying to be human. And then so those others who are nearby, they need to be in relationship too. And so I didn't have a campaign, so to speak, but I didn't ignore it. I made sure that those things. And at first I was a little embarrassed when everybody wanted to get into the bathroom. And then later people said, they were in another place, in another building, not too far. And they would say, well, we got to go because BBC's over there and I want to go over there to go to the bathroom. Now, I think that is hilarious.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
But I do think there is a way to break through, and it goes into the heart of some people who can't even get an idea that they have power. Mm-hmm. But when they do have power, it sometimes is beautiful. And I lose power sometimes. And that makes me feel bad because I think I'm supposed to be BBC. It's sort of silly to say that, but it is a way that the echo of trying to be up to date has to go. Otherwise, you're just a bunch of non-connections.
Wow.
And I don't want to do that. I want it to make a difference. But you've got to have a framework that makes you convince yourself that you know what you're doing. For many settings and many churches and many organizations don't do that very well, very often. I mean, you worked with people enough to know how they haven't figured out what to do. Yeah.
And the power of being in relationship.
Yeah.
And being connected.
Yeah. So, I'm really interested. Somebody said, well, we want to make you the head of the something or other. And I said, I don't want to be the head of something. I want to be someone who can help work at some things with some people who have really good strength and courage and hope. Hope is really an important thing. And that when people really feel they have a hope, and there's younger people and there's older people and there's different places, and they can see all of that flowing together, then I get excited. I begin feeling like, yeah, that's the way. You have to take chance.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I believe that.
Yeah, it's important. I remember when I heard you, I thought, you know what you're doing. I don't know you very well, but I saw enough.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. And I don't know you as well as I would have hoped, but I certainly have studied your work over the years. And I just consider you to be a mentor, a trailblazer, and a gift from God, really. And
I feel responsible, and that's both scary and wonderful. It really is.
Yeah.
I bet.
If you're supposed to be responsible, it's like, But if it's coming through and you're not quite sure, but it's got stuff, it's got tears, it's got smiles, it's got all kinds of things in human life, that's essential. And when you're old, we're in a pretty old place, so there are a lot of people here who don't, they know that they're 80. I mean, I'm 88 at this point. And, I don't remember everything like I once did, and that makes me feel like, maybe I'd better just give up. Well, other people say, that word. And I said, no. Then they'll tell me, and I'll figure out something, and I'll remember. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where the place that I thought was so perfect that I couldn't use it made me feel I can do something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's something a lot of people don't think is possible. They don't think it's real because it's old and human and female.
Wow.
I do think that that's part of it. Mm-hmm. Now, women are doing better than they have done in the past, but I do remember when I first started doing stuff, the men had all the big stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the women came in and said a few things, and then they said big things, and then they said, go to the bathroom. I think maybe that's enough of this conversation.